Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on NASCAR Heat 4. Today we start the playoffs here in the Nitro Racing League. At the end of the last episode you saw the playoff grid coming into this. We're like 32 points above the cut line going into this first round of the playoffs, and we start the playoffs here at Chicagoland Speedway, where I had to actually start at the back of the field for this race because when I started qualifying I had no game audio whatsoever coming through my headset, and it's kind of important for me, especially on restarts, if I'm on like the front row, to actually be able to hear everything and whatnot. So I actually had to bail out of qualifying, restart my console, and get back into the race where we had to start at the back of the field. Only 12 drivers here tonight, as we, like I said, obviously starting at the back. Definitely have some work to do here, as I can give you guys a rundown really quick. Stage 1 is 30 laps. Stage 1 ends when we hit lap 31. Stage 2, also 30 laps. So stage 2 ends once we hit lap 61. And then we obviously have the honorary nice moment where we hit lap 69. But the race ends once we hit lap 111. So keep that in mind. So it's lap 31, stage 1, lap 61, stage 2. The race ends lap 111. So we were moving our way forwards on this inside lane here down into turns 1. Keep in mind as well, only the top 5 get points in the first 2 stages now as we came through on lap 3. Some 3-wide racing here between the 37, the 1, the 20, as well as we go down towards turns 1. We have our teammate of RJ just behind me as we go down into the corner. Now RJ actually gives me the bumper, pushes me through the whole corner, and that's put me into the side of the 1 car. So an apology to Justin. It wasn't my fault at all, but still, obviously we got pushed into his door, put him in the wall. But we were running P8 now on lap 5. We would get to the inside of Matt. He's obviously one of the drivers in the playoffs, one of the big contenders that we're going to have to deal with here for the next group of weeks now. As we passed him though for P7, we were moving our way forwards, got to the inside of Christian in the 37, and he would actually pinch us down just a little bit there, but we were okay, and then I hit the apron on the exit of the corner, and now we nearly catch the wall, but we would hang on to it now as it came through on lap 8, right back into the action, as it was the 9 car of Andrew leading the way as we came through out of turns 2, heading down this back straightaway. They actually wrecked behind us, as you could see there in the distance, so that would bring out our first caution of the day here on lap 8, but this actually was surprisingly a very clean race, as you'll see as the video goes on. So we would get right back into the restart here. Everyone comes to the pit lane, pretty much takes 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires nearly every time, unless it's the end of a race. So we knew what to do. We took 4 tires. We were P7 on the restart as Andrew was going 3 wide with the 88 of his teammate, as there was some contact there, pushing the 88 up the track into the side of the 9 of Andrew. So Combat, I still don't know what Combat's first name is, so I'm just going to keep calling him Combat until I find out. Now as we go down into turns 3, the 20 and the 12 made contact there as we came through turns 3 and towards turns 4, and now we're back up into P6, battling for P5. We're going to be on the outside of Matt as we go down this trial. I could have tried to force a 3 wide up between Matt and Christian, but I decided to push Christian here in the 37 as we go down into turns 1, and then we get a little bit of a bump from behind there from the 19, but no harm done, as I though do go way wide through turns 1 and turns 2, but we hang on to it there and continue running P5 as we would get right back into this little battle here with Matt, Christian, and our teammate of Bryce as well there as we go down this back straightaway. We're going to split through the middle between the 37 and the 18 as we go down into turns 3. The 24 of Outbreak, I don't know what his name is either, so we're going to call him Outbreak still by his gamer tag as we exit turns 4, but we're up into P3 as the 24 leads the way. We're going to battle side by side with Matt. Unfortunately, the outside did not really work in my favor when trying to get past my teammate of Matt. As we went down into turns 1, we would just kind of drift backwards as he would get past me. The 37 of Christian got to the inside, then the 18 of Bryce as well got to my inside as we went down towards turns 1, about at the halfway point now of this first stage here in Chicago for the first race of the Nitro playoffs as we go down this back straightaway, obviously looking for the opportunity to get down to that inside right behind Bryce, possibly once he comes through to get clear like that. We get to the inside, and now we're going to also be able to pass Matt as we exit turns 4, as he's actually going to battle side by side though, and we almost made contact, probably did make contact on his screen, but we would take the position away from him. Now it's came through on lap 19, the 18 actually slides up in front of me, and we would obviously get into the back of him. I would hit the wall on the exit of turns 2 because of that contact, and then the 9 of Andrew, he would go past as we went down into turns 3, so we dropped out of a stage points paying position by just about a car length or so right behind Andrews. Came through now on lap 20, going down towards turns 1, the 18 of Bryce, he goes all the way to the top. Something happened there, and that brings us back up into this little battle with him, Andrew, and the 20 of Matt. Now as we go down towards turn 3, Andrew looks to the inside of Matt as they go down into the corner. He tries to take the position as I'm going to try and force the issue a little bit on the 18 of Bryce, nearly making contact there as we exit turn 4. Definitely there was contact made on his screen. There's always a lot of that. Now as it came through to the inside of Matt again, so now we try to take P4 away from him as we go down towards turns 1. We would make the pass, then on the exit of turns 4 on lap 21, we get to the inside of the 9 of Andrew there in the Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. We come through to take P3 away with now just less than 10 laps to go here in the first stage as we go down into turns 1, trying to run down the next group of cars. The 24 and the 37, they kind of get together. They move up the track a little bit, lose a little bit of speed, and next thing you know, we're going down the back straightaway, closing in quickly. We come through on lap 23, right on the back now of the 37, looking to the inside, obviously trying to get every point we can here in the stages to put us in a very comfortable position in the playoffs, although we already come into this first round in a comfortable position. Over 30 points, I think it is, to the good right now above that cut line as we exit turns 4 on the inside of Christian as we come through the tribal, and we're going to be able to take the position away from him. So now up to P2 as we go down towards turns 1 behind the 24 of Elbreg, but now Christian is actually going to get into my left rear there as we come through the center of the corner, kind of making a hole that really wasn't there, but it was just really no harm done. We kept on going, no big deals. We go down the back straightaway, side drafting a little bit as we go down into turn 3, but I decided, you know what, we can at least maybe give it back to him a little bit. We come through turn 3, give him a little bit of a shot to the bumper as we exit turn 4, getting right on that left rear, a little bit of contact made between himself and I as we go down this front straightaway, and we would take second place back. That would allow the 24 to drive away, and that would also bring the other drivers behind us into the mix. So a bit silly of myself to kind of get into it with him like that, because it kind of hurt our chances of running down the 24, and then it brought the 18 and the other drivers behind us into the mix as the 18 of Bryce would look to the inside of Christian, and then they made contact and they both kind of got into it a little bit there. Christian would fall back just a little bit, and then we came through now on lap 28. Keep in mind, stage 1 ends when we hit lap 31, so just a few laps to go in the stage at this point. The 18 of Bryce running me down. I actually decided to give up the positions because we were so close on field. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, and I wanted to make sure I was going to make it, so I decided to just kind of back off with just 2 laps to go, I should mention, in this first stage. So we just kind of get in that draft behind Andrew. We come to the white flag now, and everyone's just kind of in fuel save mode as we go down towards turns 1 up the inside now of Bryce on this final lap in stage 1. We take P3 back, the 24 of Outright, the leader, just in front of myself and Andrew as we exit turns 2 side by side. No, not side by side. I don't know what I'm saying as we go down the back straightaway towards turns 3. But either way, we go down single file into turns 3. Outbreak trying to hold on to the stage victory. I don't even know if he's in the playoffs. I don't think he is as we exit turns 4. But either way, the 9 runs out of field, and so does the 24, and we all run out of field coming to the line. The 24, 9, and myself 1, 2, 3 in the stage. So we get 3 points in the stage. So definitely can't complain there, and I'm very happy with that now as we would get ready for the second stage here. We had a bit of a position shakeup going into this second stage because of drivers running out of field like myself, Andrew the 24. We had Jay actually was able to get put back to my bumper and push me into the pit lane, so that was able to help me out quite a bit as we go down towards turns 1 here. We're still holding our position though after stage 1 of P3, but it was Matt, as you can clearly see right in front of us, who was leading the way as we went down this back straightaway. But I decided we're going to get aggressive. We're going to make a move right off the bat as we go down towards turns 3 on this opening lap of the second stage and try to take over the position as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4, going down towards the line, trying to lead the lap, and it's going to be close, but I think it was actually Matt who had the lap led now as we go down into turns 1. Bryce just behind myself, a little bit wide there on the inside, but we're going to be okay as it's still going to be side by side between the JGR duo right here as we go down the back straightaway, and then our other teammate Bryce is actually going to force it 3 wide as we go down towards turns 3, and Matt was unaware that we were 3 wide, so we both kind of get close together like that there as we come through the center of the corner. He kind of gets the short end of it as we exit turns 4. Andrew to the inside trying to take the lead as we come through to cross the line down to P3 or so as we battle for P2, and the lead as we go down towards turns 1, making a little bit of contact there with the 18 as we come through the center of the corner. Now we're going to be 3 wide with the 9 and the 37, but we're going way wide. We're into the outside ball in the exit of turn 2, and now we're going to drop down the order quite significantly, so a mistake on my end, 100% my fault as we go through turns 3 and towards turns 4. The 88 slides up a little bit, and I was trying to avoid him, and then, well, I hit the outside wall again, and now we drop down even further. So definitely not what we wanted to have happen here, but we would be able to work our way back forwards. We came through making it 3 wide with the 1 and the 12 of Justin and Sean as we would get past them both for P7, try to run down this next group of cars again and see if we can get back into the battle. Sure enough, on lap 39, we got right back into the mix of things. 3 wide with Bryce and Christian, we would get past them, and all of a sudden we're back into a stage points paying position of P5. It was Hendrick 1, 2, 3, JGR 4, 5, 6. As we went down towards turns 1, Matt and Combat make a little bit of contact, then I get sideways, and then the 18 hits me, and then I hit the 88 because of that. Now as we come through out of turns 2, as we go down this back stretch, so a little bit of a weird moment there. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for myself or Combat. Now as we go through turns 3, but just one of those racing incidents, obviously. Now as we get back to the inside lane, they'll run up back into P4, back to the inside now of Andrew on lap 43. Keep in mind the second stage ends when we hit lap 61. As we exit turn 4, apparently on Andrew's screen we made contact. On my screen there was no contact, but either way on his end there was, so he kind of got pushed back down to 4th, and we came through now on lap 46, and the 18 and the 24 were actually starting to get into it with each other. The 18 was giving the 24 the bumper, the 24 was blocking the 18, so they were both kind of doing their fair share of silly maneuvers on each other, and it was kind of building up the tempers between them both. Now as Bryce would give the 24 the bumper through turns 2, the 24 hits the apron, then they get together on the exit of the corners. We're going to try to make it 3 wide down this back straightaway. The 24 and him came together again. I thought the 24 was going to slam into me, but we take P2 away, and as we go down this front straightaway now side by side for the lead with Bryce, we came through to cross the line of caution, but actually come out, and then under the little cool down lap for the caution, the 24 and the 18 start to get into it a little bit here. Now, as going to see the 24 once again give the 18 of Bryce a bump to the bumper, and then as we went down the back straightaway, he actually came up to his door and got into him again, and then we just try to get back in line here in P2 behind Bryce, and then we would come to the pit lane and actually come out in P2 and get ready to restart on the front row. So we would start right beside Bryce now as a green flag was back in the air, and there was some things being said in party chat that made me anticipate the 24 was going to try something on the 18. Sure enough, he would decide to force it 3 wide down into turns 1, and I thought the 18 was going to get pushed up the track, so I actually completely moved up the track and messed up the 88 of Combat in the process. The 24 got messed up from his own move on the 18. Like I said, he tried to force it 3 wide as we came through out of turns 4. We would look to the inside of Bryce, so trying to take the lead with 10 laps to go here in the second stage, and sure enough we would be able to take the lead position away from our teammate of Bryce, who definitely is showing a lot of speed here today in Chicago. But once we took the lead, we were actually able to drive away because he would start battling with other drivers, and when they started battling, it was allowing me to stretch out that gap. So we come through on lap 57, you can see we had a decent gap built up over second place of Andrew now in the 9. We come through to the final lap, and the gap was actually a little bit bigger because they continued to battle with each other as we came through out of turns 2. So looking for our first stage win of the playoffs, as well as a extra playoff point. Obviously last time out of Daytona we won a stage. I think it was stage 1 we won, so we got a playoff point there, but we're going to pick up another playoff point right here as we exit turns 4. We're going to come through to get the stage 2 victory in Chicago, setting us up fairly well, I think, for this third and final stage. We would come to the pit lane, obviously, for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires, and we would come out in P1 and get right back into the action here for the third and final stage in Chicagoland for the first race of the playoffs. Can we win the first race of the playoffs and not even have to worry about the next 2 races? Hopefully that will be the case as we come through turns 1, and I hit the apron there. That's a bit of a mistake on my part, but we would actually be okay and hold on to the lead for a little bit. We came through on lap 66, and the 24 had actually had a chance to get to my inside, and I was like, there's no point in battling with them, so we went down towards turns 1, and I just let the 24 go on the inside as we come through the center of turns 1 and 2, and then Andrew would actually get up in the mix as well as he was using that draft down the back straightaway here. As I was trying to side draft the 24 just a tiny bit, then we pull back over to the right as we go down into turns 3, and this is where Andrew would be able to capitalize on that inside lane and me being up on the outside as he would actually get to the back of his teammate, and they would both be able to come through and make a pass on me. So we dropped down to the third position here as we came through now out of turn 4, still just behind the 9 and the 24 as we hit lap 69. Nice. 69, 69, nice. Nice. I'll use that part of the screen in the video right there. at this point. Now, as there was a bunch of drivers behind us in that 4th place on back that were trying to run us down, but we came through in lap 70. The 9 actually gets together a little bit with the 24 and moves the 24 up into the wall, and now all of a sudden Andrew is back up front, and here I am in P2 trying to pounce on an opportunity, and then we actually both just got into a bit of a side-by-side battle here and there as we were looking for content pretty much. Now as it comes here on lap 76, you can see myself and Andrew just doing this little side-by-side thing as we went down towards turns 1, just doing what we can through the center of the corner. Now as we come through out of turns 2, he was holding that bottom lane though, and I couldn't really take the lead on this outside lane. We come through now on lap 78 though, still battling side-by-side. That brought all the other drivers into the mix at this point as we come through out of turns 2. The 24 from P3 is back into the mix, and then you got Bryce as well as a bunch of other cars that were brought up into this battle as we went down towards turns 3 and turns 4. But being on this outside, that would allow the 24 to be able to get ahead as we came through. Out of turns 4, the 9 of Andrew gets into the wall. He goes down to almost block the 24 as we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as we go down towards turns 1 with a little bit over 30 laps to go here in the race. As we come through turns 1 and 2, the 24 is clear, but now we got Bryce going 3 wide with us as well as we exit turns 2, and then Andrew, he's all over the boat and he slams into us. We're in the outside wall. He's going around on our screen but didn't actually crash from what I was aware of, and we went down into turn 3 and we actually didn't lose a whole lot of time. Unfortunately though, it was a pretty big setback for myself and Andrew. We come through on lap 81 though. Now fuel being an issue, everybody decided we were going to have to come into the pit lane right here. And so through turns 3 and turns 4, we get ready to come into the pit lane. The 24 actually stays out as we come through. I haven't even tried to pit at this track yet, and you can see how bad of an attempt it was, but we get very lucky and get into the pit lane. We take 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and we would head back out, but my pit entrance was so bad and I had a very slow pit stop. It was nearly 17 seconds, and you can see how much further it has set us back once again as we're now back here with our teammate Matt, the 37 of Christian. So I knew we were in big trouble at this point in terms of just being a contender for the win of this race. Definitely was a little bit frustrated with that happening as we go down into turns 3, but I was confident we could move our way back forward. Sure enough, come through to lap 95. Just about 15 laps to go only. At this point, we had gotten up to the 9 of Andrew again and had tried to take away P4 from him as we go down towards turns 1, nearly making contact, as there probably was a little bit of contact again on his screen as it looked like it for just the way his car moved up, but we would take P4 back away. Then we had more pit stops on the way. We come through now on lap 100, and we had some drivers already had come to the pit lane behind us, and then coming to 10 to go, I decided we're going to come into the pit lane, and my attempt this time was just as bad, and I thought we were actually going to miss the pit lane. Thankfully, that does not happen. We get very lucky. We would take only 2 tires, and I should mention the 18 of Bryce, he took no tires. So he was in a very good position as it almost all of a sudden looked like he might actually be able to win this race, as we had a pretty split strategy. Bryce took no tires, a bunch of us took 2 tires, but the 24, who had yet to come into the pit lane, he ended up taking 4 tires along with Andrew as well, who took 4 tires. We would lose that spot though to Karma or Matt, but out of turns 4 on lap 105, hitting lap 106, we would take the position back away from him and take P3, but the 9 and the 24 were coming through the field very quickly on 4 fresh tires, so it was really, I thought, a battle for 4th, and sure enough, the 24 on lap 107 gets into the mix. He is flying through the field with those 4 fresh tires. Bryce still leading with no fresh tires, as if it stays green, Bryce will 100% win this race, because the checkered flag is when we hit lap 111 as we go down into turns 3. The 24 gets past me. There's no point in battling him. Obviously, we have nothing for him when it's like that, but we come through now to the final lap here in the first race of the playoffs at Chicago. It was the 24 and the 88, the 200 teammates going at it for second, and Bryce on the exit of turns 2 down the back straightaway with a big lead. Now as Andrew's going to get into the battle behind me for P5, but if we don't make a mistake, we will hold on to a solid P4 finish, which I will take after these kind of 2 bad pit stops here in this final stage. But out of turns 4, the story is on Bryce. He is going to win the first race of the playoffs, lock himself into the next round as we come through to get a very solid 4th place finish. Definitely can't complain with a finish like that. Although we 100% had speed capable of winning this race, I thought myself, the 18, the 9, and the 24 all had speed really capable of winning, so we come up to congratulate the 18 of Bryce, of course, and then he would get to go do his little burnout here after the race. But very, very solid effort for us, and I'm going to show you guys now as well the playoff grid after Chicago, the first race of the playoffs. Like I said, we came into this race, I think it was 32 points above the cut line. So now after that one, we're going to see here on the screen, we're second in points still, 1 point behind Andrew, but we are now 46 points above the cut line. So we gained 14 extra points. Jay is right tied with MJ, and then Smoke is 11 points up. But that will do it though for this episode. So I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.